so locked out. Alright, good. Alrighty folks, hi, good evening. Welcome to September. Oh God, how did that happen? Terrifying. So welcome to the September edition of the Untitled Chapter Sydney Meetup, brought to you by our lovely friends from Sustain Digital, from us at Blue Egg, and also our partners Tankstream Labs. Francesca and Megan, did you want to have a quick chat first about something? Oh, I know. Yeah.
So if you guys don't know anything about Sustain Digital, it's actually run by our founder and director, Holly Colbert. She normally runs this event along with Adam. She's unfortunately not here tonight, so we're here to step in. Just to give you a bit of background, Sustain Digital is an ethical recruitment company that is trying to make a real stance and be a partner changing the perception of recruitment. We specialise in UX, UI, product and data, and we're real fans of, I guess, giving back to the environment that we work in. And we're doing an event called Women in Leadership that's going to be taking place. So Megan's just going to give you a couple of words about what's going to be happening at that event.
Yes, the event is happening on the 18th of October at Medical Direct Hub. It's on Pitt Street. We've got 5 amazing speakers, all women who are there to empower and inspire the future generation and explain their journey, how they got there, the obstacles they overcome, and yeah, just give you their opinion on how to get where you are.
It's not just for women, by the way.
Everyone
is welcome. I'm very much aware that there's a lack of women in leadership, whether that's in technology, marketing, or HR, but everyone is welcome. It's a free event, so it'd be great if there's some leaflets around, so if you want to know any more information. Angelica's at the back, she can tell you about it, and so can we, but it'd be great if any of you can join.
Perfect, thank you.
Awesome, not to be missed, it says so right here. Super important. Alrighty folks, next a little bit of business to have a chat to you about before we move into our first speaker this evening. Blue Egg has started to record a design podcast called Plastic Grass Square. We are going to be releasing episodes monthly, chatting to people from within the design community but also outside the design community. What we're doing is talking to people about how they use human-centered design practices and human-centered processes in their work lives to make tasks easier and what they learn from doing that. We've got 6 episodes up on iTunes already. You can listen to Donna Spencer. We've got a review of, or a recap of the UX Australia conference that just happened down in Melbourne. Sarah McCarthy, who's a diversity and inclusion consultant. We've got someone talking about online learning, Sonia Corcoran, who has a really long background in working in tertiary education for education design. Heaps of different subjects. We've got more speakers coming, or more people coming. The host is amazing. It's me. Sorry. Look it up on your favourite podcast app. If you use iTunes, it's there. It's on Player FM, Stitcher, all pretty much any podcast feed that you use. You'll be able to find it. Search for Plastic Grass Square, subscribe, have a listen. If you like what you hear, please rate and review us. It really helps us kind of lift the profile of the show through the bajillion podcast feeds that exist out in the world. But yeah, have a listen. Get in touch with us if you've got any feedback, or if you want to be a guest, or you think you know someone who'd like to be a guest and you want to volunteer them for it. That'd be awesome. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's go to our first speaker this evening, which is Katie Osborne, who is the product design manager for MYOB. Katie is a UX and UI designer with 12 years of industry experience. I'm just going to delicately move out of the way here so that technology can do its thing. Actually, I should go to this side. This is where I want to be when I'm finished. Oh yes, very subtle, Adam. Nice, well done. Yeah, okay, good. So Katie feels strongly about a lot of things. We've had a chat already this evening, but Katie feels very strongly that design is about more than making things look pretty. Pretty's great, but it's definitely about more than that. It's about creating user-centered, intuitive experience that solves the problem at hand by combining research insights to influence the way a product functions, feels, and looks. Katie also has 7 years of design management experience. No years of professional AV experience though, so this is not her fault. This is definitely not.
There's some people that help me with
Yeah. You know, it's the same security people that locked the front door are the ones that installed this panel. So I'm going to blame them this evening. Anyway, she truly believes it's vital to any high-functioning team to build a synergistic culture through collaboration. And as soon as the HDMI cable decides to collaborate with us on doing its job, we'll be underway. How's everyone's week going? What a fabulous... like yesterday, super toasty, like, you know, it was shorts weather. I nearly wore shorts to the office. Bit risky in September, I know. And then today, cold again. Rude. I still had to walk around in shorts though. I had a physio appointment, it was very dull, and like, you know, because they were going to do things to my legs, I couldn't wear long pants. My legs were very cold when I got to the physio. I'm sure you all really wanted to know that too. So who went to UX Australia? Anyone? Yeah. So if you missed out, you should totally listen to Plastic Grass Square, and you can hear a roundtable chat, 2 whole episodes of it, of a roundtable chat between myself and Adam and Dustin and Leanne and Amanda, who are here. Katie, would you like to start? Okay, cool. That's enough for me now.
I have to admit though, IT isn't my thing. Thanks for that warm introduction. So, I'm Katie. I'm a design manager at MYOB, where I've been working for about 4 years, and in the design industry, maybe around 13. I've kind of lost count by now. And this evening, I'd like to talk to you about the journey MYOB has been on, forming our platform vision. And I hope it encourages you to think about the platform vision for the products you design or develop or work with, if you're not doing so already. And if you are, I'd love to have a chat over wine to get some learnings from you. So for those of you who don't know who MYOB are, we're a technology company disguised as a company that makes accounting software. We're in the Australia and New Zealand market, and we've been in business for around 20 years. So we started as an out-of-the-box software. You go to Office Works, you buy your purple set of disks and put them in your computer. But over the last 7 years, we've been going on a journey of moving to a subscription-based model. And so I'm going to kind of talk to you about what building that platform has looked like. Now, I know everyone doesn't grow up dreaming about designing accounting software, and I didn't. And I get funny looks when I ask people that aren't designers, like, what I do. They're like, really? But actually, it's the most rewarding and challenging role I've ever had, and my team and I often talk about that. And I really believe if you can design accounting software, not being an accountant, you can design anything. And so, one thing that really motivates me about designing these products is thinking about the impact that it has on the efficiencies of businesses. So if you think about, we have about 60,000 people using our products. And if we can take a task that currently takes them 10 minutes, and they do it daily, and make it down to 5 minutes, that actually saves 500 hours of time. Turning that into dollars, that's over $500,000 a day we can save this group of people. So times that, by all the tasks they do, we have a massive opportunity to impact these people's lives and their businesses. And so when they spend less time doing these manual tasks, they can spend more time focusing on the creative accounting and advisory services that they actually really want to work on. So diving into the journey we've gone on building out our platform, it's had a few different starts. One of them being when I joined around 4 years ago, we had 5 designers. So our team in the last 4 years has moved from 5 to 40 designers, which have obviously had a massive impact on the products we're shaping. And as well as growing the team, we've had a few initiatives kick off. So one is starting to develop out our design systems. So it started out with a couple Photoshop pages and a Confluence page that myself and my colleague here worked on. And now is a fully fledged website that product designers and product developers use, and has code snippets. And we're working on not just displaying those as components, but moving those guidelines out into patterns. And everything that's gotten into this pattern library design system has been tested, has research behind it, backing it up. So if you have time or you're interested, go visit that. Another thing that's kind of led us on our platform journey, about 2 years ago, our engineering team started a tech vision to say, what does under the hood look like? What does the architecture of our product look like? And so the product designers and product managers, we kind of thought, they're onto something here. We need to start a vision of what our platform experience looks like. So around that time as well, branding and marketing thought, we actually need to remarket ourselves. Everyone thinks of us as the purple people. They still think of us as the box of software and office works. And I'd even have people say that to me when I'd be out at pub or whatever. So we went on a mission to what we called it Disrupt Purple, to actually rebrand what we looked like, what our products represented. And so it was really interesting. So I'm going to talk to you a bit about that marketing journey and dive a bit deeper. So how did we start that? So we went out and we did research. And so we have two sides to our platform. We service small to medium businesses and accountants and bookkeepers and advisors. So through our research, I'll just share a couple, we did internal and external research, but I'll just share a couple of the key takeaways. So 24% of our customers cited user friendliness as the main reason for choosing a competitor, under the 17% that cited features. And in terms of the accountants and bookkeeper space, they said efficiency and ease of use were the top two purchasing criteria for their practice software. This was huge, right? We talked about features all the time and building more features, but really what this research came out and said is our opportunity was really to differentiate on experience. So your competitors can come along and they can say, oh, that feature looks nice, I might try to develop that. But if you think about a whole platform experience, that's really hard to appropriate or steal as you like. So we thought, yeah, let's take this a bit further and actually think about what we want our brand to represent. Because if you think about when marketing started this off, a brand isn't just a logo, and our biggest touch point with our brand was actually product. So we really went on the journey of thinking about what are the aesthetics and the attributes we wanted that to reflect. So we had to start in a very awkward spot and think about all the things we weren't doing well. So I think if any of you are interested in a platform journey, this is probably one to take a picture of, because these are questions we started asking ourselves, which maybe you would think about. So, and we kind of did an audit against these. So we said, yeah, this is awkward, but we have to go through it. So, are products forgetful? Do we ask them for the same details over and over again? Are they manual? Do we make users spend more time putting data in than getting insights out? Are they inconsistent? Does each page or component have a unique behavior? Is it slow? Do the functions seem to take longer than they should? Rigid. Is it tied to a desktop or an operating system? And visible. Do the products get in the way of making them do the work that you could do for them? So this was a really good starting point. And so through this and through the research, we came up with some attributes we wanted to reflect throughout our whole business. And so like I said, it was beyond just changing a logo. It was changing our mindset in terms of what we wanted to represent. And we came up with inspired, authentic, and in the know. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about what these mean and kind of define them and relate them directly to design principles that help guide the way we create our products. So the other thing I think when going on this journey, it's important that these don't just become words on a PowerPoint slide, that they're actually lived and talked about day in and day out. And so we oftentimes, as we look at roadmaps and milestones and features we're developing, we say, how do they align with these? And also our CEO, Tim Reed, gets up in quarterly meetings and literally calls us out in the room and will say, how are you guys living these values? So it's really important, we're all accountable for making sure we represent these in our brand and product. So let's talk about what these mean. So in the know. So we remember who you are and what you told us, that we're there with the information and insights when you need them, and we automatically adapt to the experience based on behavior and needs. So we want to be sharp as a tack, and we want to get what our customers want and really understand their businesses to develop intelligent insights and tools. So authentic. So this is about genuine accountability. We consistently deliver fast, secure, and reliable experiences every single time, and those experiences are consistent and familiar. There's no surprises, there's no pain. Inspired. So we aim, these are creating aha moments, things that really delight. So we aim to make 99% of the experience invisible, so the 1% they do see is inspired. And so I have a slide at the end that kind of talks directly to a case study of this in our products now. So you see, like now we can actually bring these attributes back to design principles that we want to reflect and talk about as we're building out our products. Remember, insightful, adaptable, consistent, fast, secure, reliable, and I think the bottom are my favorite, 99% invisible and 1% inspired. So as we were on this journey as well, we started thinking about, like, is it just good enough to compare ourselves to our competitors? Because oftentimes people do that. And actually, we're like, well, our people that use our products don't just use our products. They use these other world-class experience products. You know, Dropbox, Google, Uber, Airbnb. So really, maybe we should set the bar higher than just our competitors and compete with other products our competitors are using in terms of experience. So now we had to think about, as we're designing these experiences, how do we create experience level objectives and relay those to the design principles? Now, like, it's all great to talk about the ideal vision, but the ideal we work in is there are compromises based on technical requirements or constraints, cost, and usability. But what we're saying now is, like, usability shouldn't be the thing that's compromised first, and this creates the tools for us to talk to that. So we said, these are the buckets we want to put our experiences in, and now we're on the journey to set benchmarks and how we measure each of these experiences. So we say gold experience is a standard experience, the level playing field. The majority of experiences we create should sit here. This is what you think about when you think of Google or Facebook. And I always like pointing out with this slide, there's no silver or bronze. There's silver. There's no bronze. And there's a silver, but people don't go to the Olympics wanting to win silver or bronze. And so we try to aim for gold. Saying that, with the silver experiences, considering all the things that need to balance and effort and cost involved, there has to be compromise. So silver experience isn't something that's accessed very rarely and can soon be automated or might have a native app. So these are things like one-time setup. We might invest a little less design time or testing in one-time setup, but we'll say we'll learn in product. And our favorite are the purple experiences. So these are the experiences that are ripe for injecting aha moments. Think about the first trialist or smart alerts. So we're not quite there yet with saying how we measure each of these, but we're on that journey. But I think what we've done a great job with over the last 3 to 4 years is we have a benchmark for everything we design being set to a CSAT score. So everything we do is tested, and the majority of that has had user interviews and research. So we've injected human-centered design processes into the majority of the things we're developing. And if we don't, we actually understand what those compromises mean. If we don't, and we might have to revisit those experiences. So I want to say as well, if anyone is doing this well in your organization and thinking about how you measure different experiences, I'd love to chat to you as well. So grab me for wine afterwards. Somebody should have solved this, right? So we've now benchmarked our experiences against the customer experience pyramid. So I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this. It talks about how, in the 90s, you just had to be useful. You just had to do something. You might not have liked how you did it. But as more competitors in the software space and product space, it wanted to be usable. And then it has to be delightful now. That's the status quo. So it's interesting, measuring this against the pyramid and where we want our experiences to sit. Now, one of the things that with cross-functional teams I often get called out on this slide is, well, where does MVP sit on this pyramid? And some of them will point to the horizontal. And really, what we're aiming for an MVP experience is something more like this. It needs to be a viable product, something that people dig their claws into. So this is how we aim to develop an agile process. So when you think about our XLOs, we also consider, like, not everything's black and white. There's a compromise and there's consideration. So other things we think about: are you doing this in the office or on the go? Are your users beginners or experts? Is it rarely used or sometimes used or used all the time? Is it a solo activity or an activity as a team? For a simple business or a complex business, a startup, a mature business, a do it for me, a do it yourself. So it's always a compromise, but I think as we design, we want to know what the compromise is, and like I said before, it shouldn't always be the experience. So we went on a journey kind of doing this activity across our design and experience team. And so we created this template and we went around all 3 cities and said, let's get everyone a part of shaping this journey. So we had everyone say, think about who it's for. So like your persona as an accountant, a bookkeeper, a business owner. And think about an experience now in product and how you want to shape that in the future. And then how it relies on our design principles. So not every experience is going to tick every box, but what are the ones most important for that task? So last slide I want to leave you with is something we're doing in product now, and this is amazing. So this is, I don't know, do we have any accountants in the room? No, good. It's very technical, I just don't want to get
no, fair enough too.
So to lodge an end-of-year compliance for a company is actually like a 5-step process. And you have to sometimes enter in the same data 3, 4, 5 times. Very manual. And so we're, our product now, so there's an underlying document that's basically like the math of how you made up your accounts. And that now, you do the math once, you put the figure in, and it goes through to all the other steps. So when you get to the company tax return, and something that had all empty fields now, it's going to be 80% populated. So this is a really good example of us doing 99% of the work behind the scenes. And so the 1% they do see is visible. And even better, they can trace those numbers back to the source data, so they only update it in one place if something needs amended. As well, we're working on actually pre-filling other data from the ATO, the Inland Revenue, and ASIC. So we keep moving the bar up every year from 80 to 90 to 99 soon. So in closing, I think it's important when you go to create something like this, it's not a static document. As you learn, as your platform grows, you need to evolve this and adapt it and say, are the attributes now that we want to reflect? They'll probably change in 3, 4, 5 years. But I hope this helps you kind of think about shaping the vision for your platform and experience. Yeah.
Some time for some questions?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Questions? Any at all? Yeah.
An interesting thought that's just occurring to me is you've got the bulk of the users that are spending the bulk of the minutes interfacing with your product, accountants, bookkeepers, who are clearly instrumental in making a decision whether to go with you guys over 0.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's your 0. And then you've got the, say, the business principal, who have spent probably almost no time interfacing with your product, but there might be something like, if you're just looking at the pre-populating data into end-of-year tax returns, if it's pre-populated into trade financing, like I can factor all your debts, or I can get you trade financing for whatever you want, bang.
Yeah.
So do you kind of make that those two fundamentally, hands-on users versus the person that drives maximum value from a major feature set integration?
Yeah, that's a great point. I think, so there's definitely decision makers within a practice that buy the software, and you're absolutely right, they spend less time hands-on. But what some of the research we've done, it's actually the accountants that, they're directly talking to their boss or the owners of the accounting practice, influencing what products they buy. But in terms of connecting the data, we have another really good example that was kind of an aha moment that I didn't bring up. But so we have SMEs that use our software, so small to medium businesses and accountants. And we realized when we started doing research on this that they were pulling reports out of the SME software, like physically downloading them in like 5 or 6 clicks. Like creating the report, downloading it, and then going to their their accounting practice software, uploading the reports into their document management system, and then attaching them. So we were kind of like, we didn't really understand that, but through research we found that out, and now we've changed that from say 12 clicks to 1 click, and we even suggest so in a trial balance is made up accounts that substantiate your business. So for example, stationery would be an account, and you'd code all the pencils and paper you buy at Officeworks to stationery. And so you can now pull those reports for that account right into the accounting software in 1 click, and we even suggest the report. So it's a great example of us showing the connectivity between our products. And I think we're only just at the start of that journey and how far we can take it.
Yeah, great presentation, by the way. Just had a question about the template that you had up there, for the personas. So was that something that was distributed like to all types of users?
Oh, that was internal. So,
okay, so I assumed it was, sorry.
Yeah. So I think we didn't want it just to be like the design team that led this. Engineers, developers, BAs, QAs, like they still have great ideas, and oftentimes we design something and it's not technically achievable with how complicated the back end under the hood is. And so I think we wanted to make sure, even though like sometimes we speak the loudest about design, we were making sure we're getting everyone involved. So it was an activity we rolled out team by team to kind of talk about this. So then, like when everyone designs an experience, we say, here's the benchmark and why. Yeah.
It just, came across that was the case, but at the same time I thought, what a great opportunity for MYOB to like have that feedback from your real users, people out there in the marketplace that might have a perception of your product, being that
Well, we go out and do a lot of research. So I'd say a month across the 40 designers, at least the 6 I manage, we probably get, I'd say each designer probably gets at least 5 hours talking to users fortnightly, probably more. So times that, it's a lot. So we store all of our data in Evernote. It's another great tool as like a brain dump of data. And then we synthesize it using Airtable. If anyone's not using Airtable, it's amazing. So then we always have that raw data from the interview to say it wasn't about a specific subject that we can go back to. So we're kind of collecting it. We are collecting it, but just not in that way.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, good question.
One more question?